Welcome back to another episode of the Glam Count-Out, where we mix a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of glam, and a whole lot of personal flair. This week, we're switching things up, and I am giving you my top WWE superstars. Now, to be clear, this is not a Mount Rushmore list. This is not a greatest of all time list. This is simply my personal favorite wrestlers. And while we count those down, we're going to recreate this Naomi glam from this year's Summerslam. From those who got me back into wrestling to those who've earned every bit of my love, this list is quite personal and possibly a little bit controversial. So let's get into this glam and this list. Per usual with me, I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. But if you saw the intro, then that means it must have turned out okay. So let's see what we can do. Doesn't sound too confident of me at all, does it? I realized when I was thinking of ideas for more things that I could do in this series that one of the things I should definitely do is just give you a list of who my favorite wrestlers are. Simply because, maybe we have some that are similar. Maybe we are completely opposite, but you still like it here. Doesn't matter. But either way, there is not a list of 10 because, to be quite honest, I just simply could not keep it there. And I said, well, who said it had to be 10? This is my channel. This is my video. I can do as many as I want. But I am going to start off with some honorable mentions because I just didn't want to rank these people. I just didn't. I don't have necessarily a reason, but I'm going to immediately start off my honorable mentions by naming Bray Wyatt. Here's the thing. Bray Wyatt was never like my top favorite, but I have always enjoyed him because whether it was with the Wyatt family or himself and eventually the Wyatt Six, Bray has always had such a strong creative mind, and he could back it up on the mic with the way the story was carried out. Bray just had it, and it's not something everyone has. Obviously, he was against my top favorite, which we'll get to eventually, quite often, and not for nothing, I didn't like seeing my guy lose. However, Bray was just special. From his entrances to the moves, the way he was able to move in the ring, he had it. And to be quite honest, anytime I see Uncle Howdy, anytime I see Bo Dallas, anytime I see the Fireflies, I just think about how much I miss Bray Wyatt. So wouldn't be a list if I didn't include him, right? I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I'm real nervous about this look, but the Discord voted for it, so let's keep going. The next name will probably be one that nobody would have ever guessed unless you really and truly know me. Maybe I should carve this out with shadow first. That's usually how you know what? Fuck it. Let's ball. Let's go all out. And honestly, this person isn't really a wrestler. And while they did wrestle, they are nowhere near half the other people on this list. And it's Stephanie McMahon. And I know she's not a lot of people's favorite, but I have always adored Stephanie McMahon. And you have to admit, she is one of the best heel characters in WWE because she can just make you hate her. She just has that factor that makes you hate her. And whether you really hate her for real is none of my business. She's just good at making people feel like they should not like her. That's actually going way better than I thought it would, y'all. Kudos to me. Okay, either I'm getting good at this. What? I might just be getting the hang of this thing, okay? I just might. But back to Steph. Stephanie is actually in some of my favorite moments and in some of my favorite storylines ever, which we will for sure get into at some point. I'll just tell y'all now, outside of the bloodline, the McMahon Hemsley era was one of my favorite storylines ever. I love it. To this day, I wish I could just go back and watch it a little bit, but that was what the WWE network for, and unfortunately for us, it's gone. Y'all, I'm really shook that ended up okay. Okay, all right. We might be able to pull this off. We might. I don't know how we gonna do the. You know what? We'll worry about everything else later. Take what we can get right now. Stephanie McMahon is a part of a lot of my favorite moments when it comes to wrestling, including the McMahon Helmsley era, Randy and Triple H's feud in 2009. Like the list really goes on and on. I've always absolutely adored Stephanie McMahon. I just I just enjoy the character. I enjoy who she is. I enjoy who she represents, and she's able to piss a lot of people off quite easily. And that's just a great thing to have in wrestling, obviously, like not in real life. It's not like I try to piss people off in real life or anything. Another one of my favorites actually would have to be, and again, we're still in honorable mentions. This isn't even the top list. We're just in honorable mentions. I have to include Nikki Bella, and I know that is going to be very controversial. I'm sorry. I love her. One thing that I really love about Nikki is that she is very true to who she is. She is a diva. Yes, she is now a women's superstar, but at her heart, at her core, Nikki is a diva. And she's still going to bring you that diva energy while doing her best to keep up with the women of today. Now, a lot of people have their opinions about her, and this video will not change it because that's not my goal. My goal is not to change anyone's opinion about any superstar. It's simply to get you to see why I enjoy that superstar. When I think about Nikki, I mostly remember the Divas Revolution. Now, of course, I'd watch Total Bellas, I'd watch Total Divas, so I was already a Nikki person, and this was just outside of my love for wrestling. I could relate to her as much as I could, being in two completely different statuses, obviously. But I understood who Nikki was as a person and the things that she wanted. And I also could always see that Nikki did want to be better in the ring. She was really trying her hardest when her neck injury happened to get better. She was training with Daniel Bryan. She was training with John Cena. Like, she was really working her ass off to prove to us as fans that she did belong. And unfortunately, it was cut short by that injury. Nikki is one of those people who reminds me to be grateful for how far we come. She reminds me of what we've been through because she's one of the women still around. We don't get to see the Stacy Keeblers and Tori Wilsons and, well, we saw Trish just recently, but we don't get to see them often enough for us to remember what they had to go through to help us get to this moment. And that's what Nikki is for me. She's that reminder that once upon a time, the women were not allowed to do what they do now. And I'm so grateful for every woman all the way to the beginning till now who has worked hard to give us that. Like, could never imagine it. Even my grandma was watching a match on SmackDown with me, and my grandma never watches wrestling. Okay, that's me and my mama's thing. My grandma never watches. My grandma was watching a match and she was like, "Oh my God, these girls are so good." Like, it shocked her. She was like, I never thought women wrestlers would be doing this. I never expected that. And like, again, my grandma's 80. So completely different world for her. And it just, again, Nikki just represents the past. She just represents that, hey, those women could have done so much more if they had just been given the opportunity to, but they still did what they could so that the women today had that opportunity. I love Nikki. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Y'all can never make me hate her. Y'all can never make me hate her. Bianca said it ain't a show without me. It's WrestleMania without the EST. Sorry. Again, still not going to be 10 people, but you know, it is what it is. And we're going to start off with one of my absolute favorite women's wrestlers, Lita. To know me is to know that Team Extreme was one of my absolute favorite groups growing up. And Lita was probably the first women's wrestler that I really truly got behind. Not for anything other than, y'all, I'm making such a mess. Y'all see the fallout. The fallout is crazy. I'm using actual pigment instead of shadow. I promise it looked crazy. Trust me on this. Trust me. Lita just looked so cool when I was younger. You know, she had the, like, I really hate to say it, but you know, she had the baggy shorts with she had the baggy pants with the thong up there, and she hung around the guys and was always in the guy shit. Like she was not playing the damsel in distress ever. She just was really cool. Her and Trish Stratus were like the first women that I remember very vividly. Also, honorable nod to China, rest in peace, because she was right there with them. But yeah, Lita was like that first woman that I was like, yeah, the women can go, dog. The women are it. Her and Trish Stratus had so many feuds and so many matches that I was just into my entire childhood. I'm gonna just let the fallout happen until it's done. But yeah, her and Trish were just, they were literally the center of my childhood when it comes to women's wrestling. They are the two that I remember the most. Her, Stephanie, and Trish, because I have to include Stephanie, right, were just always forefront, absolutely killing it. And I just feel like she just felt different to me at the time. She didn't just feel like the normal women's wrestler that we were so used to, because she didn't look like the normal women's wrestler. She was doing the things that they really weren't allowed to do. I'll just say that Lita probably caught my attention more than most women because she was with Matt and Jeff, and if you know me, you know they will definitely be appearing on this list towards the top. But yeah, I simply adored Lita. I felt like at the time Lita was so ahead of her time, and she was just so cool and so athletic, and she was just everything for me. I feel like every girl had one. You either had Trish, Lita, or Chyna. And Lita was mine. Next up, and I probably should not have put these two so closely together. And truthfully, a majority of these are in no particular order until we get to like the top 4 or 5. Then, yeah, order starts to matter. But for most of this, I'm just, as they come up, I'm pointing them out. Sometimes I stop and look at myself while I'm doing this, and I'm like, you look nuts. You look absolutely nuts. What are you doing? Wipe it off and go to bed right now. Edge is one of the very few people who could get me to mark out the way I did when he returned at Royal Rumble, because I simply didn't expect it. Just like everybody, when they said Edge's career was over, I believed it was over. I thought that neck would be forever and we would never get to see him hitting another spear or hear You Think You Know Me playing in the ring unless it was just for him to come out and talk to us. So when I heard that at Rumble, I lost my shit. And I'm actually so grateful that he came back when he did, because if he had waited, he would not have gotten that crowd reaction. However, Edge had to get to one of my favorites before we got to that, and he really did. Of course, just like Team Extreme, Edge and Christian were some of the foundations, the pillars of the tag team wrestling division within WWE. And for me, at least, I always just gravitated towards Edge. He had the look, he had the attitude. I have an unhealthy allegiance to assholes, okay? I'm so sorry. And Edge was exactly that. The rated R superstar and rated RKO, come on. How could you not? How could you not love Edge? Let me try to do these squiggles real quick, and then we'll be back, because we got such a long list, and I'm done with the eyes, so we're going to have to yap a lot. Okay, it don't look that bad on the camera, but it does in person, so we just gonna go with it. We just gonna go with it because I'm disappointed in myself. I think I disappointed y'all. Back to Edge. Edge has one of my favorite moments ever, because the spear to Jeff Hardy from the top of the ladder. Come on now. Y'all knew that was getting brought up. Like, it was just such a crazy thing to witness. And to this day, I still cannot understand. I cannot fathom how these men did that. I'll actually forever be sad with how Edge's Judgment Day run ended up, because I expected so much more from that. So much more. But alas, it was not meant to be. But I think he's having the time of his life as Cope right now. And that's all that matters in the end. I just want these people to find happiness when it matters. Now, absolutely, of course, I have to mention the Never Seen 17 for the very last time. Not in this video though, but like on our screens. John Cena. Like, I'm sorry, who doesn't love Cena? Like, in all honesty, how could you not love Cena? How could you not see everything that Cena has done for the company, regardless of how you feel about him as a person? Because I definitely feel like that stops a lot of us from enjoying people. Like me personally, I don't like Logan Paul as a person. In ring, I gotta shut the fuck up. But no, truly, as from Thugonomics to You Can't See Me, I've always enjoyed Cena. I'm not gonna say he's like favorite of all time, but I've always enjoyed Cena. There's not too many people who can stand toe to toe and go against Cena. If I had to choose, my favorite feuds of his would either be Randy Orton and one that a lot of people won't like me saying, Roman Reigns. Like, come on. And by Roman Reigns, I do not mean suffering succotash Roman Reigns. Y'all know that. I mean tribal chief Roman Reigns. That Roman, yes. The other one, we're not talking about it. It really started to hit me at SummerSlam that we're about to lose Cena for good. That, like, this really is the end. We only have a few more months with him. I want to say it's like 8 to 10 days somewhere. And he's gone forever. So I'm trying to appreciate John and everything he's doing as much as I possibly can. But I beg of y'all, don't bring that man back. And y'all know exactly what man I'm talking about. On to the next. The next one is one of my top favorite tag teams of all time, even rivaling my GOAT tag team that we will obviously get to in a second, and that is Jimmy and Jay Uso. Y'all, I love the Usos so bad, from face paint to penitentiary to bloodline to even them separately. I just want to see the Usos win. Like everybody, I do have my favorite, but I tend not to speak on it because 9 times out of 10, you're going to get it wrong unless you know me personally. But I will say, like, I love me some Jimmy, but I love Jay just as much, and I'm so proud. I have been so proud of the growth I've seen. I never would have expected the Usos to be where they are, and I'm so proud. They are truly one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I'm hoping before Jimmy hangs it up that he finally gets his moment. He gets some singles go around his waist, but only if that's what he wants. If it's not what Jimmy wants, then I'm okay with seeing Jay succeed. But me personally, I've always loved the Usos. I've loved the Usos for as long as I can remember. Again, one of my 2 favorite tag teams. And one of my dream matches is to see the Hardys versus the Usos one more time for the tag titles. And I need that to be the Hardys' last match. That needs to be their last match. That needs to be their last thing. That's on their way out the door, giving me what I want one last time. And I'm not gonna say pass the torch, but you know, if that's what it ends up feeling like, so be it. But I just want to see the Hardys and the Usos square off one more time. I know this is a somewhat unpopular opinion amongst Usos fans, but I am excited to see them get back together at some point. I really don't care when it is. I just enjoy my boys together. I enjoy seeing them win. I enjoy seeing them with gold. And let's be real, the tag team division better pray that that's no time soon, because the Usos will literally have that division in a choke hold. It will literally be held hostage until they decide they're ready to give it back. So hope for the best, but we must keep it moving because we still have at least 6 or 7 more people to go. And I'm going to try not to yap too much because I know for a fact that when I get to these first 2, yeah, there might be a lot. So can't have a top list without including Randy Orton. Whether he's the Apex Predator or the Viper or the Legend Killer, one thing is for sure, I'm going to ride 10 toes behind Randy Orton all the time. Now, when I tell y'all, 2009 Orton is just different. If you were not watching wrestling in 2009 and you constantly hear this reference and you're like, oh my God, what are you talking about? What was so nuts about 2009 Orton? Number one, after you finish this video, go look up 2009 Randy Orton. Number 2, if you check my page, I actually did a recap a while ago where I started going through what happened between Triple H and Randy Orton in 2009, and I got up to WrestleMania. I still have to finish that because I've been asked a million times to finish that and I haven't. I will get on that. But that Randy Orton is the reason why Randy Orton today is still beloved. That man was knocking legends out left and right. His hit list is longer than Santa's naughty list. Okay, like that man did things in his 20s that nobody else would have done. And I mean, like, if you go through who he punted, just to start it off, you got Shawn Michaels, Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, and almost Stephanie McMahon. The one I will never forget the most, though, is Mr. McMahon. I will never forget watching him kick that man in the head and going, oh shit, he just did that to his boss. Oh my God. Randy Orton in 2009 was a problem. And the day, the moment, the millisecond we get some of that back, baby, I will be no good. I will be unwell. Y'all prepare to be sick of me, okay? Prepare to see video after video after video of me detailing just how mad this man is. Because just imagine with me for a second. Just imagine Randy, who is the legend now, instead going after people who want to take or to get legend status. You would get Randy versus Roman, Randy versus Seth, Randy versus CM Punk, Randy versus Jey Uso. We would even have to revisit Randy versus Gunther again. The list goes on and on. Like, come on. Like, let's just let Randy knock people out again. Can we put that on a shirt? Let Randy punt people 2025. Like, can we get there? Not to mention, Randy was a part of two of the biggest factions, Evolution and Legacy. And not for nothing, just as an honorable mention real quick, Evolution and The Shield are two of my favorite factions of all time. Like, unstoppable, undeniable. Shit just went crazy when those two groups took over. Like, I'm so sorry. I don't know if y'all know this, but fun fact about me, Evolution versus The Shield was why I got back into wrestling. Because I saw, and I mean, I would have told this story later, but since we're talking about it, I saw Roman Reigns coming down the ramp with the Shield, and I was like, who are these people? And then I looked over, and Randy, Triple H, and Batista were in the ring, and I was like, whoa, what's happening here? And that was how I started back watching wrestling while I was in college. If it were not for the Shield, if it were not for Roman Reigns, I would not be here in front of you right now. So let's all say thank you, Roman, but we'll do that again in a second. But yeah, Randy is iconic. Randy is legendary. And the day that man decides to hang the boots up for real, I'm going to be very depressed. I will. I very much will. I very much will. Next is one of my absolute favorite Nepo babies, Miss Charlotte Flair. I've said it before and I've said it again. This run that Charlotte is on is it just makes me so happy. It makes me smile because you can tell she's really enjoying herself and she's getting to be the character that she's wanted to be. Like, when Charlotte came back, Charlotte wanted to be a face and she didn't get that opportunity. Charlotte won me over during her feud with Nikki Bella for the Divas title. That was when I stopped seeing her as just Ric Flair's daughter and as a problem for the women's division. Like, Charlotte Flair was that girl. She was an absolute beast in the ring. When Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha came up, I knew that everything was changing and nothing would ever be the same again. And I was right. As the years have gone on, Charlotte has only grown on me more, and I tend to like people that everybody else hates. Who would have guessed? I don't know. I don't have a reason as to why. It's just a part of who I am, apparently. I hope y'all can hear me over this, and if not, I'll just edit the clip. But regardless of how you feel about Charlotte and her dad, you have to be able to admit that as a wrestler, Charlotte is absolutely phenomenal. And she deserves to be where she is. Like, that woman works her ass off, whether she's hurt, whether she's injured. She is trying to be there and show up to be the best she can be every day. And I admire that. Earlier this year, Charlotte put out an article talking about how she has to put a face on and be Charlotte Flair. And she wakes up and thinks, how can I be Charlotte Flair today? And that resonated with me so deeply because you never know who a person is behind the face they present to you every single day. This person you see right now is not who I am every day. It's who I show up as. So because of that and a whole lot more, Charlotte Flair will always have my love, respect, and admiration. I'm so sorry to everyone who dislikes her. I love Charlotte Flair real bad. Real bad. Y'all have probably been waiting for the person on this list considering I'm doing her makeup. So, of course, we have to talk about Mother Caution, Naomi. Even before the Caution era, I was a Naomi fan. Back when it was her and Cameron in the Funkadactyls, back when she was on Total Divas, back when she was getting her matches cut at WrestleMania, I love Naomi. I actually am so glad that the rest of y'all are finally seeing what those of us who have always been Naomi fans have saw in that, and that's that she deserved more. She deserved to be a star because the woman is absolutely phenomenal. This Caution run was one of the best runs I have ever seen within this company. Like, I cannot comprehend how this woman turned things around the way she did. I just can't. I remember having conversations on live about whether Naomi could cut a promo or not. And now people are jumping to see Naomi cut promos. People are jumping to buy her merch. People are jumping to see her defend that title. A lot of people who were sad about Clash in Paris were sad because Naomi and Stephanie was no longer happening. And to that, I say, ha 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 ha, to all of the Naomi haters, because that's what y'all are. Like, if you cannot admit that this run has been absolutely crazy, I have no words for you anymore. While it is also extremely sad to see the run come to an end, I'm just so absolutely overjoyed for Naomi and Jimmy. As a woman who is in her just about mid-30s, I'll be 34 in December. Like, I understand the struggle she has with wanting to be a mom, and maybe we'll do a random get ready with me where we talk about some more vulnerable topics that I have on my plate right now, because I think that's a topic for another day and not for today. But children are absolutely such a blessing, and it's so beautiful to see her getting to live out that dream, getting to be the mother that she has wanted to be. And so I'm proud. And like she said, y'all got 9 months and some change. That's it. We giving y'all a little over a year, and then my girl will be back. She will be getting her title, and she will be coming for what's hers. Some days I do miss the glow gimmick because I love the glow, and that glow title was absolutely nuts. The Caution title was absolutely nuts, and if WWE doesn't put that on the shop soon, I may do something drastic. I am really, though, so ready to see Naomi come back, because Naomi versus Charlotte, Naomi versus Stephanie, Naomi versus Bianca are all matches that we have to look forward to. And I just know when she gets back, she's going to kill that shit. She's going to annihilate this. I mentioned this next group a few times tonight, but now it's their turn. The Hardy Boys. I absolutely adore Matt and Jeff. Just like with the Usos, I do have a favorite, but that one is not hidden because everyone knows I love Jeff Hardy. Despite all the struggles, despite all the hardships, he's remained a favorite for mine, and I'm just so happy to see him alive and still able to do the things that he loves. Matt and Jeff were one of the first teams that I can ever remember watching, like, straight up. Matt and Jeff, I'm trying to think of words to actually say to explain to you why I love them so much, and I'm really coming up blank because there's so much I could say about them. They have been such an insane team. They have shown me that it's okay to be different and go against the grain. I will never be as extreme as them, but gosh, if I don't love it. I literally went to a TNA show for the very first time last year just because I knew I would get to see the Hardys in person. And while I had seen Jeff in person, fun fact, I got laryngitis and completely lost my voice the one time I saw Jeff. I swear, if you go watch that SmackDown back and you hear his music hit, there's a girl who screams, that's me. I swear you can hear it. Um, very crazy, but I swear that's the truth, y'all. I swear. We're down to my final three. And these people are my final three for good reason, because these are probably my top three of all time. And I don't see this list changing anytime soon. First has to be who originally was my favorite of all time, and that is Triple H. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the Cerebral Assassin, the King of Kings, like all those other names. Triple H was one of my first favorite wrestlers ever. If you don't know, I bought the Triple H jacket, the denim leather jacket combo, because his return in Madison Square Garden in 2002 to this day is one of my favorite moments in wrestling history. I remember the injury. I remember the countdown. I remember the way the roof blew off of the arena when Triple H came out. Okay, I'm trying a new powder, and I don't know if y'all can tell, but like, it's eating. It looks good. It looks good. Triple H has been a part of some of my favorite moments again. Just like when I mentioned Stephanie and Randy, Triple H and Randy is my go-to name your favorite match moment, because that Hell in a Cell, no, because that 3 Stages of Hell match is still damn near untouched for me. Damn near, because there is a couple that beat it, which is why he's not number one now. I have to admit, though I know that storyline would not work today, the story of him and Stephanie and how they came to be was just such a thing for me back then. I don't know. Like, he really just brightened up a lot of my childhood moments. Whether it was him and Vince, Cena, Randy, it does not matter. I would sit down and watch all of those days, which I actually did that not too long ago. And I saw quite a few matches that I didn't even know existed. And I was like, oh shit, like, how can I call this man my favorite when I haven't watched everything? So I'm making it my mission to watch every single match that the people I call my top favorites have ever done. Now, I normally don't like to do under my eyes because I just never think it looks right on me. It makes me look like a raccoon, but I feel like this look is incomplete without it. So we're going to try it while we talk about my number two, who is probably at this point my favorite women's wrestler of all time. And that is my EST, the strongest, the fastest, the toughest, the roughest, the best, Bianca Belair. But like, y'all expected that, right? Y'all expected me to say Bianca. I think I'll make it quite clear on this page just how much I love her. Um, while Bianca is not necessarily one of the reasons I got back into wrestling, she damn sure keeps me here. Oh, that's dark, y'all. Spooky. Bianca is from Tennessee, just like me. And you can tell at all times that she's just very proud of who she is and where she's came from. Her story of what she's gone through is also quite touching. But that's not why I love Bianca. Like, no. Yeah, that adds to it. But Bianca truly is one of the best women to step foot in that ring, and you cannot tell me otherwise. Like, I do not want to hear it. And I'm not saying there aren't women who are better than her. I know there are. I'm sure there are. They're not Bianca Belair. And at the end of the day, I don't know what to tell y'all. Bianca versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, what was it, 39? Bianca versus Sasha will forever be one of my favorite matches of all time and one of my favorite WrestleMania main events of all time. Like, oh, that match just makes me so happy, and it just fills me with such joy, because whoever would have thought we would have saw that. And to add to that fact, those two women had never been in the ring together before that. That was their very first match together, and they absolutely killed it. If you ask me, like, what are your favorite women's matches? Unfortunately for you, a lot of them will in fact feature Bianca Belair, like, forever. I love her. I love her gear. I love her athleticism. I love her strength. I love the way she moves in the ring. I love the little sassy, cocky attitude she has. I adore Bianca. Right now is actually the first time I've ever had to watch wrestling without Bianca being present. Last but not least, y'all know who my absolute favorite is. It should not surprise anyone that it is, of course, the tribal chief, the head of the table, the OTC, Roman Reigns. Like I mentioned, Roman is the reason that I got back into wrestling. Without Roman, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to do this makeup. I wouldn't be able to talk about these superstars. I would not be able to do anything that I am doing in this moment because I would have just went about my business. And it's not just the one time with the Shield where he brought me back. I'd actually stopped watching during the Thunderdome. Somewhere after Mania, I just kind of checked out because it just didn't feel the same. There was nothing keeping my attention. I was just bored. And it wasn't until that SummerSlam, which I think was 5 years ago yesterday or today, because I'm recording it. I think it was actually 5 years ago that everything started with him actually getting to that point. And so it's so crazy to me because, again, I was not watching. How did I go from not watching to not missing a show unless I like absolutely had to now? And I'm very well aware that Roman just simply is not everyone's cup of tea. And that's okay. You're allowed to not like Roman, especially here. I do not mind because we're all allowed our opinions. If we had to hold back how we truly felt about everything because we lived in fear of how other people took it, who would we be? Now, like I said, Roman, again, just like Bianca, a lot of my favorite matches revolve around him. Him versus Kevin Owens, that last man standing match. Him versus Jay, the I Quit match. And I hate to admit this last one, but that last man standing match in 2022, that one too. Roman has a whole lot of my absolute favorite matches, and it simply just is what it is. He brought me to this place. He brought me the friends I have. He brought me this page, all of it. Like, I owe a lot of my fandom of where it sits now to Roman Reigns. And like, I do understand if in recent time he's turned you off, because I get it. However, I just cannot turn my back on Roman Reigns, because to turn my back on Roman Reigns would be turning my back on how I got here. And I simply can't. I simply enjoy him and what he's done for WWE, for wrestling, entirely too much. But again, I'm very well aware that my entire list will not be everyone's cup of tea. So feel free to disagree with me in the comments. I promise you, we can respectfully talk about it. I think it's healthy to be able to disagree with people who you do not agree with. That is okay. That is a part of life. So I'm going to go curl my hair, do probably just the black lip, because she has like a gold shimmer, but I don't have any gold anything that I could put on. So we're going to do a black. So we're just going to do a black lip, curl my hair, and then I'll be back to show y'all the finish. And there you have it, our finished glam, as well as my list of WWE superstars that I always ride hard for. From faces to heels and even a few legends, these are the people who keep me glued to my TV screen, losing my voice at events, and honestly, maybe even losing my sanity just a tiny bit. So now it's your turn. Make sure you drop your faves down below in the comments and let me know if we're twinning or if you finna drag me. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, share it with a friend, hit the subscribe button, and turn on post notifications so that you're notified every time I post. So until the last bell rings, bye guys.